Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Multifamily Legacy Podcast. I'm your host, Corey Peterson. Today, we are in a more of a somber state because we are dealing with some craziness that's sweeping the world with the COVID-19 pandemic. And I have a panel of truly amazing operators. When I say operators, these guys have been in the business for 10 plus years. I know them all personally. They're all my good friends. But I would like to welcome to the show three of my favorite people in the world. I got Nizan Mosery, I have Maureen Miles, and I have Mike Flaherty. And both, respectively, they all have companies. I'll let them talk about their companies individually. But collectively, they have done lots and lots of deals, have operated lots of properties, and really, in my opinion, probably are the best guests to talk about what's going on in the current environment. So, guys, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us, Corey.
Thank you.
Thank you, Corey.
Yeah, let's just do a quick round robin so everybody can get a little bit of feel of who you guys are. And we'll start with Nizan and then Maureen and Mike.
Sure. I've been in multifamily since 2010. Before that, I've done commercial real estate in Manhattan, did fix and flips all throughout the country and in Israel when I lived there for many years. And 10 years ago, I started a company called Cornerstone Investment Partners, and we've been going strong ever since.
Awesome. Maureen?
Yeah, so let's see. We operate out of the Southeast and Midwest regions now, doing some new build in Texas as well. And we also have a fully integrated, we have a property management company and also a construction company now that we operate across 4 different states. So we've been in it. I've been in multifamily for a long time, started with duplexes and singles, just like Nizan was saying, and just developed it from there. So, now we're buying the larger complexes. Have done almost 20 deals, not 20 larger complexes, over 100 units now. We're approaching that number. So pretty cool.
Awesome.
And
Mr. Flaherty.
Mike Flaherty. I'm hunkered down here in California with my wife, 3 little girls, and dog. And business is still up and running. We have properties from California, Nevada, Arizona, through the Midwest, over to the East Coast. Assets under management, about $700 million right now. And I used to be started buying apartments in 2009. It was a great time to start buying apartments. We're going to see that again here soon, hopefully, for all of us. And prior to that, I was a real estate developer in New York City and Los Angeles.
All right. So as you guys can see, these are 3 guests that really understand what's going on, and I think you're going to give us some really good insight. So guys, just really want to just throw this out there and give us your overall take on the markets, kind of the state of multifamily, where are we at, and what's going on, and anybody can take it.
It's a mess out there right now. It's just a big question mark. I think it's a wonderful time to pause, listen, and learn. And myself and my team, we're doing just the same thing, Corey, you are, and everyone else is on this call. We've been on calls for a week straight with our peers in the industry, lenders, Fannie, Freddie, specifically regarding all the loans we have with them, property management companies, you name it, really trying to assess our business, assess the state of affairs across the country, economically, socially, personally, and trying to understand what we need to do now with our current portfolio and where things are going. I think it's really hard to make any decisions right now, especially in the multifamily business, without really understanding how the financials, how the rent rolls will look over the next 2 months.
Yeah, because we're still in it. Like, we're just in the beginning of what's going on.
And it changes every day, right?
Yes, fast.
I've been trying to keep my investors up to speed, and to be honest with you, I haven't done a great job of that because it just keeps changing. Is this a V curve or a U curve economically? it's too hard to really judge it yet.
Yeah, we've sent out a notification to our investors, just letting them know that, you know, we do everything we buy is on a conservative model. We've been very choosy lately on what we've been buying. We've still been finding great deals over the past 12 months. We found some really great deals, but we're not as aggressive on, you know, rent rising and things like that. So they've had to really make sense day one, which I think will save us. And then also we did look at making sure that there was a very diverse workforce in these, because we don't know what's happening. As we knew that we're probably getting close to the peak of the market. Nobody really knew what would happen. But the other thing I want to say that I just reassured our investors that we're well capitalized too. We always have those rainy day reserve funds. As syndicators, it costs us a little more upfront to do that. And so there is an expense to, you know, we sell property sometimes and we still never touch, you know, $300,000 or $400,000 worth of these reserve funds, these rainy day funds. But I call it sleep good at night funds. I said Maureen needs to sleep good at night, so I do. As long as that's in the bank, we don't touch that. And so that's what. So right now, I think anything that happens, any of these bumps, we're okay for a little bit, you know, before anything is really affected, you know. And to people out there that are new starting out, you really want somebody experienced to be able to go through your capital budget with you and make sure you have reserves appropriately for things like this.
Yeah, and that's with our portfolio, we're really focused on keeping occupancies up, which entails keeping the back door closed. So on renewals, no increases. I've authorized our team to give a $100 concession or discount, just really to make sure our tenants, number one, are safe and they stay in place. We're not doing any rent bumps on new leases. We've halted most all of our interior upgrade programs, and are really just focusing on, you know, keeping our tenants safe and in place. And believe it or not, I mean, the good news is our portfolio is 95% occupied. We're averaging around 60% on renewals going into next month. That means nothing, right? It's not a great barometer. It's a good sign, but we'll just have to wait and see how the next, you know, couple of months fare. We have not heard a lot of, you know, feedback from our tenants on unemployment issues, but we're prepared for that. We're offering payment plans, payment solutions to our tenants as well, just to try to prepare for the next couple months. We are not charging any late fees for the next month, assuming tenants can pay by the end of the month. So it's you know, it's a crazy time out there. I'm looking at my notes from Oxford Economics. You know, Q2 is expected to be the worst in history, down 10%. Q3 is expected to slowly rebound at 3.2%, and Q4 is supposedly, you know, the eye is in the beholder, right? The beauty of the beholder. But Q4 hoping to come roaring back at 14.5%. So we'll see.
Yeah, we've done the same with us. We've spoken. You know, I've sent out emails to all our residents. You know, letting them know how to take care of themselves, how to take care of the, you know, their surrounding areas. We've given them, you know, extra ways of getting in touch with the property manager on site, and with maintenance issues. We've spoken to our entire staff, the maintenance crew, if they need to go inside a unit, that they need to be prepared and so forth. We're also, like Mike said, and Maureen, we've putting together a payment plan for those in need, right? We haven't yet blasted it out to everybody, but if somebody comes to us and tells us, hey, I can't pay, we have a payment plan. We're also working with this company that I found that they will actually go and make a payment plan with the resident and yet pay us the full rent on the first. They charge the tenant a $19 a month fee for this. Now with the mass influx and onboarding of more properties and more people, they're now charging the owner operators $10 per unit as well. So what we've done is we've sent out a letter saying that we're going to bear that $29 for the first 90 days. And what it does is it lets a third party deal with the payment plan and then just forward us the rent. And if the person is late and whatnot, they take care of that on their end. So we don't have to go through all that. We are talking to our lenders, as Mike said, looking for forbearance and whatnot.
I think that's really important right now too. Like, just really, it's all about communication. I mean, that's what we're talking about is communicating with everybody, right?
Absolutely. Constant communication, right? Because right now, think about it. Everybody, we're all feeling very isolated. We're all feeling very unknown, right? We're worried. What's the future is unknown. So if there's someone that is communicating and just sharing and being open, it relieves a lot of stress for people. So open communication is very important. We've also stopped all renovations. Right now it's preservation of capital, preservation of residents, preservation of the asset, right? So that's what we've got going on as well.
That's a good point. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, we've taken this just to not lay anybody off or anything. As we have decreased work orders, we're only doing kind of life and safety work orders. We're not doing kind of our normal maintenance schedule type of things. We're not going and changing filters. Like, just right now, we just stopped that for just the short term, why everybody's under these isolation rules or kind of shelter in place. But I told my maintenance people, they're still turning units. We still have our vendors coming painting units. You can do this social isolation, and we're just really taking advantage of this time to really just get caught up on everything. And I see, at the end of this, we should have those units ready to go, and we're doing everything to make sure everybody stays working and employed as well. So trying to take advantage of this the best we can, while keeping everybody safe.
So I want to bring up a point right now. For me, the question I'm going to ask is, how are you guys handling your communication with investors? One of the things that we've done, and we just did it last week, is just to suspend. We put a big long email out. We've been going almost every week now. We've been communicating with our investors, going to give them an update, which is, we usually only communicate once a month with investors ever. And so now to do it weekly is it's a lot for us. But we've also let them know that this next quarter payment is suspended. All payments to any investor right now is suspended for the time being, just because we want to have liquidity, right? Just in case. And because we just don't know how bad it's going to go. And what have you guys been doing?
Yeah, did that as well. In the email that I sent out to everybody a couple of days ago, I let them know, with a heavy heart and a heavy pen, we're not distributing cash, and it's for the sake of the asset, right? It's like I said before, it's asset preservation right now, right? We want to preserve the asset so that we can come out of this on the other side and then go back to normal. So yeah.
So we haven't made that determination yet. I mean, our distributions, they wouldn't go out until April 20th for Q1. So I'm just going to
wait. Same as us, Maureen.
Yeah, because things seem to just progress almost on every other day. There seems to be new information and new programs and I really want to see kind of what the result of the tenant collections are. They're increasing some unemployment, even for people that are, they said gig related, like musicians, and I mean different things like that. They're doing some kind of an employment rollout, at least for certain states that we're involved in. So I'm just waiting to see kind of the impact of early April before we make that determination. I want to do everything we can to stay up according to what our investor expectations are, but I'm sure nobody would be surprised by this if we were to hold those back.
My thought was just to hit them now and let them know it's winter's coming, right? And then if I can, then we absolutely will. But again, we don't know, the next 30 days is really critical, right? So
yeah, I think we're all waiting. I think we're all waiting for April 1.
Because right now, by the end of this month, if you're paying quarterly, you've already got the money in. We already have the money in our holding account for investor payments for next quarter, right? Mm-hmm. And so, we've let them know that, hey, we got the money. It's not like we can't pay you, but we don't know what's going to go on, and we want to make sure that nothing's going to go bad. So that's. And have you had any, Nizan? Have you had any? And Mike, let you jump in real quick.
Yeah, we're doing some of the same. I've been on 15-minute calls with pretty much all my investors personally this entire week. Everyone's asking that question. Everyone understands if we suspend distributions, and they all understand, hey, cash is king right now. we, as I said, we've been on conference calls all day with Fannie Freddie and understanding the forbearance issue. I think we're going to get some good flexibility there, either with deferring payments, paying them over the next 12 months, rolling them onto the back end of the loan, going interest only. So everyone's on board with suspending distributions, but we haven't rolled out a decision on it because we too also usually don't make that decision till mid-April. But I think it's the smart, prudent thing to do going forward. But, you know, as Nizan said, let's see how April 1 looks. I think more importantly, let's look at April's financials come mid-May to really understand how this impacts us. And it's probably, again, it's not a great, 1 month is not a great barometer for what's going to happen to us here. It's probably 2 months, 3 months, especially knowing that most of our tenants work in the service industry. Most of them are directly affected here. And it sounds like that's going to get worse and worse as more news comes out here.
Yeah, I think so. Now, surprisingly, I've had only one person have heartache over that. And I think that's a testament, and you guys probably be the same way. No one will really like it, but you're not going to have very many of your investors throw fits. At least that's what happened to me. Nizan, for you?
I've experienced, you know, positive feedback, you know, people saying, thank you for being proactive. Thank you for letting us know. We totally understand, you know, keep the asset as, you know, as tight as possible.
Yeah.
So, you know, again, communication, right? Just got to communicate. Doesn't matter what you're communicating to them, right? You know, we're still doing distributions. We haven't decided yet. We made a decision. It doesn't make a difference as long as you're communicating, right?
Yeah.
As long as you're speaking to them.
Yeah.
They want to see us being proactive
being
and
leaders,
not sticking our heads in the ground and going, oh my God, when is this going to be over?
Yeah, I totally agree. Cool. So have you guys experienced tenants saying that they don't want to pay yet?
No, we really haven't yet.
Not yet.
We're starting to get some rumblings. You know, we got 5 days for it to really roll out. But we haven't seen it yet. You know, the no eviction mandate that, you know, has been rolled out by the government in certain municipalities. I'll be honest with you, that really concerned me and frustrated me last week. This week, I'm a lot more comfortable with it. The reality of it is the courts are closed anyway, so there's not much we can really do.
Yeah.
And, you know, fingers crossed, I think we'll have our repeat offenders that will push the line on evictions. But I think most Americans will do the right thing. We're all in shock right now, right? We're all kind of frozen. It's not a great time to move. It's not a great time to make rash decisions. So, you know, will we have some increase in evictions, in late payments? Absolutely. Will it be through the roof over the next month or two? I don't think it will be that bad. I'm a little bit more optimistic on it, but as we keep saying with communication, we're all in the people business, right?
Yeah.
Our property management companies are the first responders. So good transparency, good communication is really key right now.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Yeah, I happened to be on the phone with one manager when a tenant came in that had owed money from this month that is just a typical late payer. And she's like, well, I don't have to pay you now because you can't evict me. And my manager told her, she says, well, you don't pay me now. When they open those courts, I'm going to make sure that I pay extra and you're the first one in line. So that kind of made me laugh a little bit. But I think the wise tenants know they're not saying that you're going to get a credit on your rent that you don't ever have to pay. It's just we can't evict you right now if you don't pay. So I think we actually sent a letter out already this month, and what we're offering is we're just doing a raffle and saying anyone paying before the 1st, that we're gonna do a raffle and give somebody 50% off their rent for the month. But we're just trying to set expectations that, you know, your rent is still due, and, you know, even if there is something, we are also going to do a payment plans. We have a hardship form that if the tenant comes into the office and says, you know, I'm having an issue, I'm a bartender, I'm, you know, whatever their job happens to be, they can fill this out, give us kind of supporting document, and then it kind of rolls up to the VP of operations. But I said the last thing we want to do, we don't want to blanket out to the tenants because they're say, oh, no late fees this month.
Yes.
We don't want to encourage people to not pay when they would have paid normally. So I think I think, it's hard to say. We don't really know what'll happen.
And this is a tough one, Maureen, right? Like, because I've been thinking, like, so our policy currently is rent's due, right? Rent's always, it's due. And we're just trying to handle it individually. I mean, as a case by case basis, show us your hardship, right? We want to understand it. Because if you don't, then you'll get masked because everybody, they're like, chatterboxes. And once they know the door's open, it becomes a flood. And so I think you've got to be, and that's the slippery slope, because you have compassion and you want to help, but you also running a business and you are responsible for the economics of your property.
And you don't want to penalize people that are going to pay either, because then you don't want them to feel like a sucker for paying on time when the other 90% didn't. So that's what we're looking at. So right now we just have the raffle for the.
I like the raffle idea. That's a great idea, Maureen.
Yeah, thank you. And so the people that pay before the 31st get into this raffle. And then the people that I think are paying after that up until, like, say the 10th, I haven't made the determination yet, but I think I'm gonna do a little bit of a discount. Like, maybe they get a certain $25 or $50 off just to help them. Maybe there's a gift card or another raffle for all the, normal people for thanking them, just to help people out. $100 gift cards, something like that.
Do you guys use ACH? Do you guys have ACH? Is most of your tenants on ACH?
Yeah, they can pay online. We have several things. We actually just looked at some apps as well.
So we have on our portfolio about 98% of our tenants are on auto draft, ACH.
Well,
so I got to tell you, man, one of the things that we implemented, like, we took out the check casher out or the scanner. We took it out of the office. And so our tenants have two ways to pay. One, you send a check to corporate, which no one likes, right? It's a pain in the butt. Or they can get online and go onto the portal and log in. And what it's done for us, like right now I'm seeing the effects, is that because it swipes the bank account on the first, and it swipes pretty regularly until it gets its money. And it's been a blessing, because it really people are just accustomed to it takes out first thing. They don't have to physically come and give us a check. It just happens automatically.
Yeah,
that's been a blessing for us.
Online, direct payments, online payments. We're on all ACH distributions to our investors as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that will help here as well. But to Maureen's point, it's you have to be flexible right now.
Yeah.
We just don't know. We just don't know where this is going to go over the next couple months. So I think flexibility to our tenant base
really is
really, really important.
Yeah, we would normally take partial payments, but that's something we're going to implement as well. And so what I want to do is kind of take a look at the hardship form that they fill out, see what unemployment's offering, how quickly they're responding for the people that have been laid off. And then, we could get weekly payment plans. And I'm thinking as long as they stick to that, then we don't accrue late fees. So like having some kind of incentive to stick to that plan as well. Mm-hmm. So where the late fees would kick in if they violate that, or, just trying to keep everybody kind of under control.
Because the worst thing is none of us want to make the news.
Right.
Right. Nobody here wants to make the news of being the stingy, greedy landlord. Right.
Exactly.
And so, but we yet, it's really, I mean, the good thing is, at least what I'm seeing so far, is that everybody seems to be playing cool. Like I'm even banks, everybody seems to be understanding everybody's willing to work around some stuff. And that's kind of unprecedented. I've never seen that much flexibility in everybody, even lenders, right? As we've talked with lenders, they seem to be somewhat flexible, and that's been really nice.
Yeah, I've also recently sent communication out to my team too, just to give other owners and, people a heads up, just saying that I think in that they're looked up as a leader in their community anyway, your property managers, even your maintenance supervisors, these people, kids look up to them. We're kind of setting the stage for the way a lot of people are going to react in our own communities. And I think they really have to be aware of that. So, to handle themselves calmly and collectively and be really careful about what they say to people. And, I do think they're looked up to as a leader, and they need to be aware of that. And to thank them for that as well. My team, like unbelievable things. I asked them, I'm like, send me an email on the creative ways you guys are still accomplishing, because everything's getting done still. And like, send us ideas. Like, I love to see the creativity that comes out of our teams. So
people are amazing. And when you put them in the right, and when you let them lead and like give them that power to do things, Maureen, you can, I mean, people are amazing, right? I mean, there's a lot of people that want to step up and do good. And that's a testament of who you're hiring too, those types of people.
Yeah, one other tip. I gave each community manager a few $100s to say, look, just use this however you feel fit. You know your community. You know if there's elderly people that maybe might be a little isolated or whoever. Like, just feel free to use this money, and if you want to buy kids coloring books, like whatever you want to do with it. It's they have this, and it's only a few $100, but they seem pretty happy about that, and I think it gives them a little.
That's another great idea. That's a great nugget. I love that.
Oh,
I just wrote that one down, so I'm going to implement that like after we get off this Zoom call.
Cool.
That's a good one, man. Just go love on people.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Just, you want to buy toilet paper and give everybody rolls, like whatever you can find, and have fun. And
that might be the best gift ever.
Yeah.
It's probably more valuable than coloring book, but you never know. But it depends on where you're at in your TP collection right now.
Yeah, right. I think Nizan's point about the being flexible with payment solutions is really important. Nizan, we've been doing the same thing through a company called Flex Payment Solutions. Is that
that's what we've been using?
Okay. Mm-hmm. They're probably overwhelmed right now. I've heard they're actually stopping to take more clients.
Mm-hmm.
But we've been doing the same thing. Any tenant that has a concern with payment, we refer them to a great payment solution company. They coordinate everything. We still get our payments on the first of the month. So it just goes to that flexibility, incentives, good communication, trying to help your tenants out over the next couple of months. But that's a great service.
Absolutely. And so on that service, we're actually paying for the service for the tenants for the first 90 days. And then after 90 days, we're going to reevaluate if we're still in this situation or not. And what's cool is if the tenant wants to remain on that, then they'll take that $19 on their end, right? And hopefully by the time this is all over, they'll stop charging the owner operators as well, and they'll go back to just charging the tenants. Then the tenant will stay on that program, and it's kind of a guaranteed form of payment for us if they stay on. So it's a win-win in this situation and out of this situation.
Yeah, awesome. That's good stuff. All right, couple more questions, guys. Capital markets for loans. What's your guys' outlook? What are you hearing? And I probably should have got a loan person to be on this panel, but maybe I'll do another one with loan guys.
So I've been asking a couple of the capital markets guys from the different brokerage companies that we buy from, Cushman and all these other guys. They said that, and again, this was about 4 or 5 days ago that I spoke to them. Who knows if it's the same information now, but they said that, they're tightening a little bit. They're still lending. Fannie, Freddie still lending. Rates are going up a little bit. LTVs may be coming down, but they're still looking at deals, right? I guess they're looking at deals that have strong cash flow and looking at the tenant profile and seeing what they are. And Mike, I think you said it, now they're coming up with more reserves as well that they want us to pack in there. So, and I think there's a lot more private lending going on right now as well. Right?
Private lending's definitely up. Yeah. The last time I had a talk with my loan guy, he was saying like the CMBS market is like on pause, like they're not doing anything. Really, Freddie, Fannie, and HUD or FHA are like the lenders that are doing anything that are kind of going out there and doing stuff. Your bridge to perms are your rates are. There's actually a lot of uncertainty there. They don't even know what's up, right? No one knows what's going on, so like no one really wants to lend. Are you any of you guys in contracts right now?
We're a couple things. So Corey, you're exactly right. CMBS is done. They're actually walking from closings at closing.
Yes.
So that they're failing. The life company loans are out completely. Agency debt, Fannie Freddie, still rocking and rolling. We are in the middle of refinancing 4 properties. where we'll be returning 100% of investors' capital. So we'll be returning 19 million back to investors over the next 45 days. That'll feel really good.
Yes.
Now,
Ooh, good job. We got to give a cheers to that. Good job, Mike. That's awesome.
we're excited about that news, as is our investors.
Because you're hitting the floor, bro.
Right?
And on all your loan terms, everybody's hit the floor. I know I have.
Yeah.
I got a refi going on. The lowest it can go. That's where we're at.
We just got debt applications and signed debt applications yesterday. So Fannie, Freddie, they're still active. They're still open for business. We were worried we weren't even going to be able to get debt quotes last week. They still, it's so different from 2008 where we still have debt. The banks are still in business.
Yes. The banks are in good, decent shape. They're not been making stupid loans.
It's not a financial crisis that we're in.
They're still debt. They still want a loan. So our interest rates, to Nizan's point, interest rates really dropped, but they increased the spreads. Mm-hmm. So the spreads have increased a bit. So across the 4 or 5 properties we're refinancing, I'd say the average all-in rate was 3.3 to 3.6%, depending on the debt coverage ratio. But spreads have increased. Leverage has decreased a bit. Debt coverage ratios have increased a bit. But our investors love it because we're taking low leverage loans, returning everyone's money back, and then we're keeping the mortgage payments at where they were before. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't affect investors' cash flow going forward. So to your original point, debt's still out there. They're still lending. It's just if you're buying right now, are you buying at the right price? And what's going to happen with debt as you go into contract, right? Because the lender has the right to reduce the loan amount based off of financials. And if we all think our financials are going to dip, our net income is going to dip over the next couple of months, your loan proceeds is going to dip as well, which is going to put you in a position to want to lower that price or retrade, as they say.
Yeah, that's exactly where we're at. We have a refi with Freddie on a property where we're getting a 10-year term, like 3.7 is our rate, and 5 years of interest only, and a 10-year term. Like it's. I mean, listen, I'm like going like this right here because we went from, it was a bridge to perm. Our bridge loan was 7.5%. To go from 7.5 to 3.7 is like turning on the juice box, dude.
Yeah.
Right.
And actually, Fannie Freddie, they have a 10 years of interest only product.
Wow.
So that's what we've been refinancing to. Low leverage loans, 65, 70%, 10-year fixed. On average, 3.5% with 10 years of interest only. So that's great debt, which can be considered an asset. Mm-hmm. You sell and have a buyer down the road.
Is that a Freddie product? I'm sorry, the 10-year IO.
Yes, the quotes are through Freddie.
Wow, that's good. Yeah, we have some bridge loans out right now. I'm like, come on, guys, let's finish up this construction. Yeah. Let's finish up these projects. We want to try to capture some of this. Great rates. And we have 3 deals under contract right now. One was just at the very start of it. So that's just kind of on hold. Another one, we just got an extension on due diligence because we were supposed to do a physical due diligence last week. And so we just waited and the seller agrees too. And then the other one is the new construction, which we were just about to close on that loan. But we decided to wait because there's no, the governments are shut down pretty much as far as inspectors and things. So I don't want to be sitting on that loan when I can't get somebody to inspect certain things out. So that's the only trouble we're running into with anything with our larger construction projects right now is getting the inspectors out when the cities are kind of shut down. So we're trying to make that call on, do we move forward in certain things? Do we have a good enough relationship? Can we send pictures, or is it something we just have to stop and wait? That's the only issue we're running into.
That's a good issue. We were in a contract and we just asked for a 60-day extension. Like just keep everything as it is and let's go 60 days because we don't know where it's going to shake out. Because I think there's a price reduction coming, right? Like I think rates are going to change. Cap rates are going to go up a little bit. Once, who knows? But like the whole goal is like we need some time to see what's going to happen. Yeah. And just like right before this call, they came back with this super horrible like counter release our earnest money and all these things. And finally, I just said, the heck with it. And we're just going to use the force majority. I'm probably saying that wrong.
No, you're right. I wouldn't.
Major.
You gotta
Right?
say with the French
We
accent.
won't judge you. I don't know
Force
either.
majeure.
French major. Shelly can do it great. But why is it always got to be French when you want to say something?
Got an 8.5 on that one, Corey. That's pretty good.
So we're getting ready to issue that because, I mean, I think 60 days from now, I could probably put it back under contract for cheaper.
Yeah.
But, and that leads me to our last question is really, what's the future like? And what are we doing to prepare?
Well, I think you know, we've gone this whole podcast now. This whole show has been about what we're doing and how we've prepared, right?
Yep.
Communication, asset preservation, keeping our thumb on the pulse of the capital markets and what's going on. And I think, you know, just straight, you know, stay the course, right?
Yep.
We said it earlier, you know, I
Do we
think
see
it's
opportunity coming?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. There's opportunities, you know, there's opportunities also outside of real estate, right? There's a lot of opportunities right now. But stay the course, right? I think if you start rocking the boat a little too much in the beginning, when you know, when things really start rocking and rolling, you want to be stable, right?
Yes.
You want to be straight. You want to kind of stay the course. We're just, you know, like I said, keeping as much capital as we can. You know, like Mike said, cash is king in these situations, right? Keeping the asset preserved and really taking it slow, moving it forward, right? Really just knocking it down a little bit and just moving forward very, very slow, very steadily, not making too many hastily decisions and, you know, throwing money out and renovating the entire property. And I think that needs to be put on hold and wait and see what goes on, you know. Like I said earlier, we're all waiting for April, see how those collections are going to be coming in, and then we'll know a little bit better.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious too, the way the lenders are going to look at if we do have 2 or 3 months where it's just a little bit of a bump, and then, you know, maybe entering into Q3 that, you know, everything kind of normalizes. How are they going to take the effect of that like blip, right? So that's one thing we have to see. We can predict all we want. Nobody really knows until it happens. Mm-hmm. The other thing is, you know, for the past, I'd say year and a half, we've been just buying so conservatively. We've been turning down a lot of deals, a lot of properties we would love to own and add to our portfolio. But, you know, there's people out there that were just, you know, I think capital was so cheap. People gotten some, not necessarily us as syndicators, but some of these equity groups, they have to place capital, right? It's the only time they're making money. So they're buying things on ridiculous margins or ridiculous, you know, cap rates that we really can't compete with so much. And I was jokingly telling my team, like, don't worry, we'll buy it in 4 years when they can't get those rents out of it, you know? So, I mean, that may be coming back around too. So there may be some, for some, those of us that have been conservative and, you know, just really making sure our cash flow was strong or the story was really good and, you know, solid going into these deals where we thought we could, you know, increase performance. I think that there'll be a little bit of reward at the end of this because, you know, people with the stock market a little funky, or I shouldn't even say a little funky, with the stock market doing what it says, it just shows what we do. You know, I've had investors thank me for.
Oh God, yes.
You know, like,
how many of your investors have called you and said thank you, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
lots.
Definitely. Yeah, they have. Thank you so much because
thank you for saving me.
Exactly. So we have some serious fans right now. So they'll definitely be, you know, we're always looking for opportunity, and not that I want to see anybody ever go under, but you know, with risk, there's reward, right? Sometimes those people can really kill it on those deals, and you know, otherwise, sometimes we miss out on opportunity because we're not.
Let's face the facts too, Maureen. So, like, and you guys know this. There's a lot. I mean, the whole hot button in the last couple of years has been multifamily investing, and so you've got everybody rushing into this marketplace that probably hasn't practiced what I believe we all practice, which is conservative underwriting. I think that's something we all have truly in our toolbox is, listen, you got to kiss a lot of frogs to find a good deal. And there's a lot of investors that are going out there and just, you know, they don't, I think just because they don't know, or they've not been trained, or they, you know, they watch some guru and then they're like, we're going to do it. And now here's the hiccup. And it's going to create, I think, a lot of little ripples that are going to come.
Well, there's certain properties too that I call them the hot potato properties. You guys probably all know them in your market, where we've been watching them trade since 2014. Every year, people buy them and they're going to put all this
Right.
money and fix them up, and they're these disgusting properties. And it's like, oh, they just trade. Wait, they didn't put $1 in? Like, I remember this being for sale 18 months ago, and he's getting plus 10 a door or plus 15 a door. And you're like, oh, like I could have bought that and just wrote it, but it's like, in my soul, I know I have to be careful. If anything happened in the market, you don't want to be stuck with that.
You don't want to be that hot potato, right?
Right. So we've been avoiding those. So this is where those people are going to get stuck, I think, with their hot potatoes.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, it sucks. But
What about you, Mike?
And, it's every day is different, right? One day you wake up depressed, one day you wake up optimistic. And as we've gone through this, personally, I'm getting more and more excited. Even before this hit, I always tell our investors, hey, here's the downside when the next recession hits, and we're here, right? And you know what? This is why we've been buying multifamily. We're buying multifamily because we knew this recession was coming, and we know how well multifamily performs through the recession.
Yeah.
We're going to be able to show that to investors, albeit the next couple months might be tough. But the beauty of multifamily is you can assess it monthly, unlike so many other business models. So we'll have a really good feel for how bad this gets come June and July. Amen. And we'll be able to monitor it monthly and understand, okay, occupancies are getting better, bad debts getting less, evictions are getting less. Is debt still out there? Are investors still out there? And we'll be able to really, you can never pinpoint the bottom, but we'll be able to have some good confidence when we buy in again. And I think it's a wonderful time for that. It's so different from 2008. As I said, there's still money out there. There's still debt out there. Mm-hmm. We have record low interest rates. And now we have these fiscal tailwinds that are going to be coming behind us here. Yep. So, whether you think this is a V recession or a U, I think all of us are going to be in a really great position to buy in at the right time, whenever that is, whether that's in 2 months, 8 months, 12 months. I'm not sure, but I think, preparing for that and really kind of pausing and assessing everything right now will be really important as we.
Have you guys talked with any of your capital on that topic? Because I know we have. Like, we sent out. The reason all these books are signed out, we're going to send it to all our investors, and with a nice letter talking about the state of the economy, and that even though it feels like Rome's burning, we need them to start thinking about giving us all their money, right?
It's funny you say that. I've spoken to my South American investors. And, before this Corona stuff, South America was on fire as well. And everybody's wanting to get their money out and so forth. And now with the Corona, you would think that everybody's kind of putting themselves on hold. And we went back and we spoke to them and said, listen, we're probably not going to buy anything in the next 90 days. So don't expect us to come to you. Maybe there's something great and we'll get it. But we have some properties under contract right now. We had to put them, extra due diligence and whatnot, but we said when we start seeing the out on the other side, get ready, because this is when we're going to come and we're going to start grabbing all your funds and we're going to start buying and buying and buying and buying, because the opportunities are going to be there, like Maureen said, right? People that have these very skinny debt coverage ratios are going to falter, and if you've got the cash, you can then come out of it and just start sprinting ahead. So there's still a lot of faith in the economy, right? Even the international investors coming from South America and from we're seeing Canadian and a bunch of European investors as well. They're still looking. They still want us to go out there and find deals for them. So it's
think about this, guys. Think about this. We all got started on the back end, truly. Really in multifamily at the back end of the Great Recession. And we were still fairly new, right? Like raising money and doing all the stuff. Here we are, seasoned now, right? And I mean, because if I could go back to like 2009, 10, and 11, I would have bought so many more properties if I would have known. Like, I would have pushed myself extra hard to raise more money because but it's a process. Like, you just don't learn how to raise money when you're new. Like, it takes time. And here we are now, very seasoned, very good operators. We know how to raise money. We're successful in that in our each and everyone's area. That we kind of been waiting for something like this, or because we know what to do now. Like, we know what's going to happen, or at least have an idea, right? Like, no one knows, but we're way more prepared now than I think we ever have been. And Nizan, you said it best: be patient, understand our economics, but also that hunter killer is going to come out in all of us in about 4 to 6 months.
I think it's already out a little bit. We're like, okay, who didn't get to close their deals? Like, who's disappointed right now? Like, what's out there? So we've already like kind of ramped up acquisitions and underwriting and kind of getting the words out just in preparation of this. We're sitting on a pretty good amount of cash right now too, so we're ready to move. I think a lot of investors have been kind of on the sidelines. Yeah. And just a quote comes to mind that one of my friends always, he's like, when the tide goes out, you see who's swimming naked, right? So I think we're going to see who's swimming naked right now and, be able to, hopefully have some opportunity. I think we've been waiting for a while. I think all of us were seasoned enough to know a good deal versus a bad deal. We're not jumping on just anything. And I think we've all been scratching our heads wondering how people have closed some of the things recently, like how can they pay that much? Like, it's just insane. And so now I think we're going to be rewarded a little bit for taking a conservative approach, because when we're looking at deals too, guys, I tell my team, I'm like, look, if we don't get a certain deal that we're bidding on, it's like, well, at least we live to fight another day. It's better to miss out on opportunity than to take advantage of something that's going to destroy you, right? So that's the take we've been taking the last few years, and I think it's going to pay off now.
Absolutely. I get properties from brokers in South Florida here where I live, and the prices are ridiculous. For a 1935 construction, they're asking $250,000 a door.
And they rent for $800 a month, right? $800 a month, $250 a door. It's like, how does that make sense?
Who's buying that? And then 3 weeks later, closed. Right.
Yeah.
And Maureen, you can build for less than that, right? You can literally build for half of that price, a beautiful complex. So it's incredible what people are buying right now. And we've all, like Maureen said, I think we're all waiting for this dip to come in and kind of correct, straighten, and just let us go out there and feed again.
Do what we do best.
Wow.
Hey guys, I want to thank you for your time, for coming on this panel. We've been on this thing for almost an hour, so I really appreciate everybody's participation. Really, from my heart, thank you so much. Flaherty, the only thing we have from you, don't you have you got a little promo that you want to show, don't you? Come on, man.
My new drinking habit.
Yeah. I told you I'd give you the plug, brother.
I don't have a new book behind me, but I do have my new Irish whiskey startup here that just hit the shelves across the country on St. Patrick's Day. I'm not sure how many people were out looking for it, but this is one of the few industries that's doing really well throughout the country right now.
That is awesome. And so since we're all pitching, I'll let everybody else pitch anything they want to. Forgive me your time, but if you're looking for a good read right now, Corey's Copy Your Way to Success: Standing on the Shoulder of Giants book is out, and it actually just hit audio. So I made an audio book. I actually went into a studio, and I voiced every word. Imagine that. So, and some of them were really tough because there's a couple pain stories here where I had to really pull myself together to get through it because it was tough. But great audio listen if you'd like. You can get that on audible.com or anywhere you can buy an audio book. Guys, last two, Nizan, you guys promo. There you go, Mike.
I just want to say congratulations to you both. This business is awesome because we have opportunities to invest in cool things like liquor brands. And it's funny, I almost just invested in one, Mike, different one, but it was a whiskey brand. So I think that's hysterical. And Corey, congratulations on writing your book too. I think there's so much value that we can give to other people through our experiences. And nobody's born knowing this stuff. We've all learned it through, trials and tribulations. And I think it's great when you share stuff. So congratulations to you too. And knowing you guys for so long, the three of you guys, we kind of grew up in this business together a little bit. And so it's just great to see everybody successful and doing well. So just want to throw that out there.
Yeah,
Thanks for
guys,
having me.
congratulations, everybody. It's awesome to see the success that you've all achieved. And, being a part of this panel with the three of you, it kind of makes me want to go out and achieve more. So yeah, congratulations to everybody, man. It's fantastic.
All right.
And if anybody needs anything, feel free to reach out. I'm here. I don't have the whiskey, but I have 2 years.
Guys, listen, for everybody listening in the audience, hopefully this has been very helpful and rewarding, and really just the knowledge here is amazing. As I finish every podcast up that I've ever done, right now is more importantly than I think ever is to control what's in between the 2 ears, right? Because you're the power of your mind, in my opinion, is everything. And if you believe it, you can achieve it, and your paradise is possible.